Hey guys, what we have all been waiting for is the Real Housewives of Miami reunion. Oh my god, this reunion was a 10 out of 10. I would name this reunion how you give a reunion, okay? The other girls, the other franchises have to take the time out and watch how this reunion was done because oh my god, I could not keep up. I had to watch this like several times to capture everything, and I'm still didn't even get to capture everything because it was just way too good. Like, this was a fire reunion. All the girls came to play, and this is how it's done. We haven't had a reunion like this in quite some time. I enjoyed every single moment of it. So much tea, so much new information. I felt like, okay, when we watch these reunions, we usually pretty much know all the information, and they pretty much go over and repeat what was done and said. But I love how this reunion, yeah, we cover what happened in the season, but then we get some extra tidbits of tea of what we didn't know. And I'm like, yes, this is how you do it. Oh my God, these girls, they served. It was a serve, okay? So the girls, they left Miami and they went to New York. And there we see all the girls. They showed up with their men, okay? Everyone, Julia. I don't know if we're going to see Martina. We didn't get to see. I know she had some health issues. But the other girls, they brought their partners. They brought their loved ones. They showed up. We get to see Larsa. Larsa brought her man, Marcus Jordan. You see, I'm like shocked. Like, these girls, they show us their lives. We don't usually get to see, who these ladies are seeing. We don't get to see these details until maybe later in the end when they're on their last leg and they're trying to do a display of how to save their, relationship. And then we get to see them. But no, we get to see them in the beginning stages, and I'm here for it. Lisa also brought her new boyfriend. And I'm like, okay. I said, Lenny didn't do this for us. Like, damn, Lenny, being upstaged by this new man. And I'm so happy that he's making Lisa happy. And I'm like, damn, that's a good, like, exciting things that we get to see from these guys coming up to this show. I'm wondering if they're gonna be actually on stage when all the men are there. I'm wondering. Oh my God. Then we see Gertie come up, and you see her outfit, and her outfit just looks naked. I'm like, girl, we seeing a lot, but it looks nice. But all the girls, they come onto the stage, and they're all dressed so nicely, and I'm like, yes. This season, I'm telling you, this franchise, oh my God, not only do they give us a good season, they're going to give us a good reunion, and they're going to give us looks for days. Okay, so we get to the set, and, of course, Nicole, she said her shady comment. She's like, oh my gosh, do you see this set? Larsa, do you recognize this set? And Larsa's like, of course, no. And I'm like, okay, Larsa, you play into it. You play into not knowing what this set is when you clearly watch the season. And we know that because of what you said to Nicole about how she addresses her dad. So we know you watch, okay? So you should know what the set is. But of course, Larsa is like, no, I don't know. And Nicole introduced, like, oh, this is welcome to the engagement party. You're here. And I'm like, okay, guys, come on. So we get to Larsa's introduction, and we get to know that Larsa's son is playing for the Lakers, which is pretty amazing, pretty cool for her ex, Scottie Pippen. And then we go over to Gertie. Gertie has a moment where she gets up and she showcases her dress. And we're like living and eating this moment. But then Julia, she wants to get up too and show up her dress and have her moment. And I'm okay, these two women, they can shine together. Let's not neglect and ignore one another. But then when it was Alexia's turn, Alexia's like, I'm going to show you the front and I'm going to show you the back. And she modeled for the girls. I'm like, okay, little star. And you see what was interesting in that moment, Nicole, she rolled her eyes over to Julia. She's like, oh. And like, I was like, come on, Nicole. Julia got up. Gertie got up. It's okay. Everyone can have a moment. I think she's just like didn't get a chance to really stand up and show her outfit. I think maybe that's why Nicole was eye rolling. She's like, ugh. Then when we get to Lisa, I'm like, Lisa, are you gonna stand up too? But Lisa, she doesn't. She actually is dressed differently from the other girls. The other girls are like wearing silvers and golds, but Lisa is wearing a black dress because, you know, black symbolizes death to her. I'm like, no, girl, black symbolizes a lot of stuff. Black symbolizes royalty, okay? Let's get into that. But she's dressing the way she's dressing as if she's going to a funeral. But I thought she would wear green to a funeral. So I don't know, Lisa. Even though you're trying to commemorate the end to your marriage and to your upcoming divorce, I feel like, you know, okay, the catch line could have been better. When we get into this reunion, you know, the first question that we all want to know, and I'm happy that they asked this to Nicole. They asked Nicole, how can you and your husband afford the plane, the yacht, the house? Like, how? And, you know, she lets us all know that we all broke. She lets us know that, you know, Anthony is a very smart guy. You know, they bought their house 1 year ago for $13 million and they sold it for $44 million. And pretty much what they do is that they buy houses, remodel, and then flip it. So that's how they're able to support their lifestyle. So you guys can just watch. And Alexia is like, is that your money or Anthony? And Nicole, she shoots back and says, well, you know, I spend it too, so it's hers too. So it's whatever. And I thought, Alexia, you didn't have to be so shady. I feel like, you know, if anything, they critique Alexia for her lifestyle because they feel like her lifestyle is supported by the men that she, you know, is associated with. But I think that's unfair to be so judgmental and critical. I mean, if you with your partner should support you as you support that partner. So I think that, you know, these kind of remarks, they're like, it's a little jab, it's a light jab, but, you know, the girls are getting started. We then go and see over Julia, and she gave us a bit of a health update of Martina. You know, it has been for them a rocky couple of months. And what was interesting is that they didn't know that Martina had breast cancer. She went and had screening for her breast, did a mammogram exam, and they didn't see cancer. It was only until her throat was swollen and her lymph nodes were swollen that she had a checkup on that, and that's when they discovered that she had throat cancer. So they did a whole scan of everything, the PET scan, and that's when they discovered she also had breast cancer. So it's unlucky, but she was also lucky at the same time, because if she didn't know she had one, she wouldn't have discovered the other. So I thought that was crazy. And, you know, you see the girls get, you know, invested into her, like Larsa and Alexia. They try to ask Julia questions, but Julia kind of does this thing where she doesn't directly respond to them, but that she responds and tells the answers to Andy, because, you know, I feel like Julia, with certain information, which is understandable, she guards herself. So, you know, she's very cautious with the girls, even though the girls, they sounded that they were really concerned, you know. And I didn't like how Alexia, she made like the comment about shingles. Like, oh, that was kind of why I didn't want to take the shingle vaccine, because of and like misinformation, But, you know, I was happy that Julia, she clarified that the doctor said, no, this was not from your shingle vaccine. You need to do this. And that what needs to be done. Like, these girls do not need to be giving medical advice. So I'm happy to hear the comments came from the doctor, that what the doctor said to Julia, as opposed to what people thought about it being connected to this, it being connected to that. When we get to Lisa, Andy asks, like, how is she doing? How she's feeling? And, you know, Lisa says she has good days, she has bad days, and then she has really bad days, which is understandable given her situation. Her kids, as for what they know, Elle does not know, but like Logan, he knows, and the things that he say, it's kind of sad and unfortunate, you know. Oh yeah, I feel so bad for Lisa, but you know, this divorce is going to be a fight. Lisa makes it very clear that she's not going to just walk and hand over everything, every demand that he wants, So it's going to be a fight. And, the show asked Lisa if she was okay with them inviting Lenny. And she said, yeah. And, the girls are like, huh? They're like shocked. They're like, oh my God, shocked and concerned, okay? And then, but they find out that Lenny declined, so he's not gonna be at the reunion. And the girls were so relieved. I was, this could be a part 4 that we wanted. Like, I know for the Real Housewives of Potomac, we had a whole sit-down situation with Robin, which we did not need. I feel like what we do need is to hear Lenny's side. I feel like it would be good for Lenny. I think, Lenny is leaving out for only Lisa's side to be out there. What the media is saying, we're not really getting from him like how he feels about the situation, because there's 2 sides. Two are, they have their parts in the divorce, so we cannot just pile on to one, but we cannot say that what Lenny did was okay. Obviously it's not okay, and Lisa seems like she really, really wants him to get his side out there. So I think it would be good. I hope he doesn't discount that. Maybe he'll take an interview and do that. I feel like, if anything, if you want people to kind of accept the situation that you're in, you kind of have to get in front of the cameras and say your side, say your piece. And then hopefully it will be therapeutic for him and for Lisa, So they talk about Lenny's hot mic moment, which opened the whole season, and I gagged. I was like, oh my God, it was just too much. So what Lisa thought is that hot mic moment confirmed everything she suspected. And Larsa, she brought up some tea. I'm like, Larsa, I don't know if you have your friends back or if you're trying to help the show out and do what you're supposed to do and produce the situation. But this is how you produce it. You're giving us some information that we didn't know, okay? So Larsa, she brings up that, Lisa saw Lenny and the girl, the mistress, in the hot tub together. And then Lisa's like, all of a sudden she remembers and she wants to explain the situation. And Lisa says, she walked into that situation and she thought that they were just too close to each other. And she kind of like grabbed Lenny to pull away from the situation. And she gave a hard look to the girl, saying pretty much, do not even try it, okay? And the way Lisa is describing this whole situation is like she's dealing with kids pretty much. She's like separating them like kids and trying to chastise them as kids. But I feel like, Lisa is, giving the blind eye to the situation, because that is wrong. And the girls are like, no. I would have packed his bags. I would have kicked him out. No. That's unacceptable. Girl, what are you doing? So she had to address the formula race situation. And, Lisa and Larsa's like, girl, we already planned to be at the formula race, okay, a week ago. So they were not going to just not go. And, Lisa goes into the situation and she was already planned to be there. And, we learned that the mother-in-law actually posted the video of the girl licking her lips at her. And, the mother-in-law was actually, she posted that because she was angry at Lenny and she didn't like the situation. So at that point, she was supporting Lisa. But then she switched over because when Lisa had to go on a work trip to BravoCon, Lenny made it seem like, she was going there for fun. And that's when her mother-in-law, Marina, she invited the mistress over to the house. So I'm like, damn. How you switch up like that? Like, dang. But the girls understand, like, come on, that's her son. Of course, the mom's going to support her son. But that's still not cool. So pretty much, Lisa is still buys him groceries. And I'm like, Lisa. And it's just like Lisa is just, I don't know her mindset in this. And the girls are so shocked about this. Lenny is able to live his life in the bachelor pad. And co-parenting is hard, and she still buys him groceries? Girl, no. But she did give us some tea. She told us at the Halloween party, since lucky for her, the mistress put a restraining order, she couldn't come to the Halloween party. So Lenny, of course, is going to invite all the girls to come to the party and do what it's supposed to do, which got them in the situation in the first place. So apparently he cheated on the mistress with another girl that was there. And she wasn't even planning to say this, only until Lenny, he put out to the press, to the media, that she was talking to other guys. They're making her look a certain way. So I feel like, if anything, Lisa is accepting that the situation is over, but it seems like she doesn't want him to be with that one. Like she, we all get it. We all been there. Like if it seems like, the person that follows you after when you guys when you break up, we don't want that person to be with that person, because you want that relationship to fail just to show that it wasn't me, it was you. Okay? And I can understand that with Lisa, especially if this is the one that's been there all along in the bushes, waiting for opportunities to strike, And I'm so happy that Andy, he brought up this. Oh my God, Andy's asking the right questions. You're doing what you're supposed to do, Andy. Yes. So Andy says, it's weird that, you guys are filming, you guys are doing date night, hanging out with the kids, making it seem one way. And pretty much Lisa says that, he was planning to do this, to do what he do, to be with the lady after filming. So he was planning to wrap up, put a pretty bow, make it all look cute for the cameras. But then when the cameras went down, that's when he was going to start his little situation. And I'm like, this is just like Shannon Bedore and her man. A little tidbit information. For the Real Housewives of Orange County, Shannon Bedore, she's been for a man for quite a minute now, and everyone's thinking they're going to get married. Okay, they're going to have their happy ending. But after they filmed that season that's coming up soon, he broke up with her. I'm like, that's going to be like a suffering, 10 times suffering, because you're going to have to watch the whole season and then talk about it in a reunion to know that you end up broken up with the man. Like, damn. Like, I feel like Lisa, this is the way it was supposed to go down, because I think it would have been tragic, not only for Lisa, but for us. Like, don't drag us in a fake situation of it all, okay? So I thought, like, okay, Lisa, at least this happened, like, his true colors came out, okay? It didn't come after and you had to fake it and pretend the whole season and watch it in years and years from now, it being replayed on Bravo. Because, Bravo, they played this Housewives for forever. Like, we see seasons of Atlanta, like season 2 on Atlanta on a given Sunday, just running on the TV channel, So if anything, you want the truth to be out there, not the lie, okay? And, actually what gave hold of that situation for Lenny to, to act now with his situation with the mistress as opposed to waiting after filming was that Lisa, after they went to a charity event, Lisa went out with her girls and she stayed out super late. She came back like at past 4 a.m. the next day. And she was just hungover the next day, and he gave her a look that was a look of disgust, like he was disgusted with her. Like, and in that moment, he brought up that I'm gonna divorce you. And Lisa, she tells us that for 15 years, he's been throwing the word divorce for 15 years over her head. And I feel like that is so much. Like, why pretend with this man? Like, Lisa used to pretend like this man was like the perfect husband. Like, why would you do that to yourself? 15 years? Lisa. Oh my God. I mean, this is her journey. Let her walk in her own journey. Possibly this is the path that she was supposed to go on to get to her happy ending. So let that be. But she believed it this time, that when he said he wanted a divorce, she believed it this time. And she gives an explanation to herself, like, in Miami, she goes out once a month. They live in Miami. She goes out once a month, and like in Miami, dinner starts late at 10:30. So she was just trying to go over in her head, like, is she in the wrong? Is she in the wrong? All the other girls, they're giving validations, like, no, you can go out with your girls. That's nothing abnormal, And she did say that she knows that she did spend a lot of money. But she does work for free at the med spa, so she's not a person to just spend money and not do anything, And I think that's fair. I feel like, they could have worked, I don't know. I feel like they could have worked through this in a sense that, they talk about what bothers each other and then make it clear and come into an understanding and move forward. But I feel like Lenny, if he wants to be with the women, if he's surrounded by boobies 24/7, he's gonna have a venture. His eyes are gonna wander, And what was interesting, finally, they asked Lisa, do you love him? She's like, at this moment, I do not. She doesn't. And then they asked her, would you get back with him? And she said, no, she would not. She's actually seeing a new man. And he's completely opposite of Lenny. I'm like, yes. And they tell us a little bit about him. He's a tech guy. And he's actually in her corner, super supportive. We actually see that in the beginning where they're getting ready for the reunion. Where he's like commenting on her outfit that she wore before. And she's like, oh, do you want me to wear that later? And he's like laughing and being cute about it. He's like pretty much saying, yeah. So I have good hopes for her. And, I'm happy she is dating. But, man, that divorce is going to be super, super, super long. Like, Larsa says her divorce lasted 3 years, And, she haven't even seen a judge yet. So, we then get Marisol and Adriana entering into the stage. And, everyone's excited to see Marisol. I don't know about Adriana. Adriana seemed like a quiet response of receiving her. But we get right into Adriana. We talk about Adriana and the BBL situation, And pretty much they asked Adriana, Andy asked Adriana, saying, isn't it ironic that you made fun of Larsa about a BBL, but you wanted to bring her to you getting a BBL? And she's like, well, I wanted to give her a chance to own it. And I'm like, oh, what? That is so shady. Super, super shady. I'm like, Adriana, get the foot out your mouth. You were just trying to get in a good place with these girls. Do not ruin the situation, okay? So Andy asked Larsa, okay, this is an opportunity for Larsa. Larsa, is this your butt? Is this the butt you started the season? And Larsa said, I am sticking to my story. If I said it was my butt, it's my butt. And after, when years go by, things just get bigger. Marisol says she's getting heavier. And I'm like, damn, Marisol, like, shush. But I'm like, okay, guys, let's not pick apart a woman's body. If she said that's what she's giving, let it be what she's giving, okay? So we then get into Marisol's drinking. And, people were concerned to say, is Marisol drinking too much? And then Marisol, she shoots back and says, no, everyone drinks. And, and she drinks because she's doing branding and marketing. So she said she's getting paid to drink, okay? She's not doing it for fun. Well, she is doing it for fun, but she's also doing it for branding and marketing. And then she goes to say, oh, Nicole drinks the most out of all of us. And she's not even like, she can't even hold her liquor pretty much. And that's when Nicole defends herself. But, Marisol brings up, Nicole, she got very angry towards me and she kind of punched me. And that gets into Nicole's engagement party situation. And, everyone pretty much called out and say that, it's not cool how you're treating your dad. And also they ask her, you're gonna have a wedding soon. Are you gonna have your dad walk you down the aisle? And she, honestly, her body language, she didn't say this, but her body language shows that she wasn't really interested in having her dad walk down the aisle. And all the girls are like, no, he has to walk you down the aisle, okay? And she says that this is such an old school mindset. Like that's not how it has to be. And I was kind of shocked. Larsa, she seemed like she wants, she wants Nicole's relationship with her father to work. And she was trying to give her advice, but she was giving her hard advice. Because Larsa says, don't belittle the dad. Did you guys think that Nicole belittles her dad? I mean, she was like making him a little bit uncomfortable because that's not his normal situation to really talk about those things in front of everybody, let alone a camera. So I can kind of understand Larsa's point here. Like, of course, he's not going to apologize in front of all the people and the camera. And, Larsa, makes a point. She says, you can't change your parents. But I think that's not true. I think your parents, if anything, they learn from their kids. So if they want to change, they could change. But I guess she's more hard on the process of this change that you're seeking from your parents. And you see Nicole get emotional because she's like, all the girls are coming at her. And Marisol, she gets emotional too. She tears up because, Nicole in her situation with her dad, everyone is seeing and they want her to make this relationship work. And Nicole, she sees it. I mean, she's grateful for the TV show, for the Real Housewives of Miami, because she's able to kind of see how she interacts with her dad, and she actually wants to work on their relationship and how she talks about this relationship, because she sees how what she says can have an impact to people that are close to her family, and she doesn't want it to come in between her relationship, And that was in particular with when it comes down to her dad dating a much younger lady. And, that kind of activated Larsa, because Larsa is like, why are we having judgment on who the dad is dating? Just be happy that he's happy, and that how that happiness can also improve the relationship between him and his daughter. And, I can see that, she's really stepping up on this topic because she also sees her situation in that topic. So Andy asks about Marcus Jordan, and at first you want to play around with us and say, oh, we're just friends. But then we get to it and, they are dating. And she doesn't really think about the age gap, even though she just learned on the show that he is closer to age to her son, the oldest son, the one that's 22, than to her. And she was like, I don't care. And, that's not our business. The son he's grown. He's like 32, 33. So that's not our business. Okay. He's grown. We also get a quick clip seeing Kiki coming into the studio, heading to get ready. So I'm like, oh, where's Kiki? We haven't seen Kiki. I'm so happy Kiki's here. So I like that moment. And we also have a small moment where Andy, he's on his phone and he's talking to John Mayer. And Nicole, she does a video message and she says, oh, you're not performing in Miami. And she's kind of flirting. And, we learned that, John Mayer is Nicole's hall pass. So, of course, she can flirt. Okay? Mind your business, guys. And so we now get into the package, in Alexia's package, where she is the star, our born star. Not the star list, but this is our born star, Alexia, okay? So, of course, Alexia is happy to talk about her part in the season, as she should. And I love that for her because she's super confident. But then, of course, Adriana wants to project about the definition of narcissism. Even though Andy wants to say, oh, we can all agree that we're all narcissists, Adriana, she shows Andy the definition of narcissism. And then Alexia's like, no, that's not me. And I like the funny moment with Lisa. Lisa's like, oh, that sounds like Clenny. And then Andy, he takes back the comment, okay, we're not narcissists, because it was a lot of bad things of grandiose things, but then lacking no empathy. No one wants to lack no empathy. You don't want to be accused of lacking no empathy. So, pretty much, I didn't understand like how there's still beef between Gertie and Alexia. I was hoping they can like let that die. But pretty much Gertie said to her that, the issue is not for you feeling that you were a star, but saying that we are jealous of you. Because she wants to be clear, we are not jealous of you, girl. We love our lives. We all have our own lives. That there's no reason for us to be jealous of you. But, Alexia feel like, she's a star, and the girls, they like to belittle her. And the reason... No, not belittle her. So, Alexia is being a star, and the girls don't like that Alexia is belittling them. But in another way, Alexia flips it and says, no, the girls resent her being resilient. And they do this by reminding everything in her past of all she went through. So I was like, oh, damn. She does have a point, because when they get mad at Alexia, they brought up her about drug dealing, about this guy, that guy, issues. No one wants to be reminded of, their past, especially if they got over it and they're here today. So I do respect that, Alexia is resilient, but I don't think the girls resent her for being resilient. I just think, it's like how Alexia could come across. Because Alexia does this thing, okay, like, for example, Gertie gave an example of the flowers. So Gertie sent Alexia flowers to the boats, to the yachts. She sent it to the yachts, okay? To pretty much congratulate, Alexia on her marriage, on her wedding. And Alexia couldn't even say thank you. She's like, oh my God, I already have flowers here, but thanks. And Gertie is like, you could have just said thank you. Why this whole attitude in this shadiness of receiving flowers? And Alexia is like, well, I felt like that was planned and staged, because I asked you to do my wedding, and I tried to give you dates, and then you didn't want to do my wedding, and it's like a whole situation about, I guess Alexia really wanted her to do a party for. I think next season, Gertie should plan a party for Alexia and surround it to the theme of her being a star. Okay, I would love to see that, actually. And then it became a whole thing about Gertie's charity versus the bachelor party. I was kind of sad about this, because I didn't think that whole situation should have been a big deal. But if it's a big deal for Gertie, of course she has every right to address it. But what these girls need to do is that once they address something, they need to let it die. Okay, obviously, okay, I don't think anyone will, I think it's poor taste. Even if she didn't get it, even if she was lacking empathy, no one's gonna put down and say, oh, your charity wasn't it, and that the bachelor party was it. These are two different situations. Okay, Alexia was more about what the party looked like, even though that was kind of like, I said, girl, do not comment about what party looks like, because Gertie is the Gertifier. Like, she Gertifies events. Just don't comment about her work, okay? It's like, nah, don't do that, okay? I could get you, Gertie, but I wish they would let this go. I don't want this to be a thing. And I don't know, out of left field, Alexia, she says, oh, you mistreat Manu, your driver, and you mistreat your husband, Russell. I'm like, Alexia, what you know? Because you're not telling us what you know. Because Manu, he did made it seem like, in the, what was that part? They had a little family event thing, charades. They did charades together. And Manu, he was a little bit shady. He wasn't saying what he wanted to say, but he was letting his boss know that you're not always the best boss, okay? So who knows? But if you do have tea, put it on the table, because then that could be a little bit interesting for Gertie. I'm sorry, Gertie, but that would be a little bit interesting. So Alexia, of course, she had to address the Russian comments. Okay, she was not gonna slide. I already knew. When that situation went down, I already knew that she was gonna have to address the situation. Okay, and I'm pretty sure she prepared herself too. So, what Alexia is gonna say? Alexia say that she didn't know how sensitive that was an issue. It kind of like came out her mouth, but she didn't realize what she was saying. But in that moment, when they asked Julia if you accept this apology, Julia, she says she accepts the apology. She feels like today it feels genuine. At the time, at that at the party in the Keys, at the dinner at the Keys. She didn't feel it was genuine, but today she said it feels genuine. She accepts it and she doesn't want to drag it out. I'm like, okay, that is so important for a housewife to say that. I feel like I like that Julia makes it very clear how if she wants to accept or receive the apology, because she could have said no and then, feel how she want to feel, and Alexia would have to accept that, But Julia, she says that she accepts the apology, so I'm not gonna fight Julia's fight. It's up for Julia to accept it or not. And she doesn't want to drag it, so she wants to dead the issue pretty much. Okay. So, Alexia. She's, what was interesting is that, we get into a situation where we talk about that Alexia, does she owe an apology to Terry, the not married husband who was dating Adriana? And Alexia, she says she is not. Do I blame her? Not really. After the man, how he talked to her, I would not give that man an apology. And also, you could kind of toss it in the wind too if they're no longer together. Like they were never even serious. Okay, if anything, I feel like this would have established a boundary with Alexia and Adriana to not really, bring your new man to Alexia if you don't want Alexia's feedback to it. But what Alexia says is that she is not going to apologize to Monsieur Thierry. She said, first of all, that is not Adriana's boyfriend. And pretty much Adriana, she rents men for the season. So it wasn't even a serious thing. So why would she give that life? And I was like, that is so shady. But do I wonder if it's true too? Because Adriana, she, but okay. Even if she rent the man, at least, it becomes a little thing that's a little bit interesting. But these guys never last to the next season. So it's like, dang, Adriana, like, what are you doing? Like, are you not picking the right men? So I think it would have been different if Adriana didn't have a new man each season. Like, come on, find someone, accept them, like them, just move forward. Like, we want to see you develop in a relationship with a man, okay? That's what we want to see. So Adriana, she shuts back and she's like, Alexia was actually the one who almost tried to set her up with a married man, and that became a whole interesting situation because we did not know this. So pretty much Alexia, she's like, I don't know if this man is married either, but Adriana suspected he may be married, and Adriana's like, I'm gonna pass on this because she doesn't want the bad karma. But Alexia responds, it's like, oh, his marriage has never been good. So what is that supposed to say? And the girls are like, ooh. And, Alexia pays no mind to it. She's like, oh, Adriana is just jealous of my life, jealous of my husband, jealous. And, for Alexia, she says for her to feel that she has to apologize, she has to really, really, really feel it. And that opened a whole can of worms. Because, Nicole was like, why do we have to, take you out for dinner, grovel, and lick your toes for you to even accept our apology? But for you can say an apology and you just want everyone to accept it. Like, that's it. And then Larsa, she shoots up and she's like, oh, you didn't give me an apology, Nicole. And Nicole is like, this is not your moment. She's like, this is not your moment. And I was like, that is super funny. And then Nicole was like, oh, you called Anthony's son a bastard. I'm like, when did she say that? I'm like, thank you, Larsa, for clarifying, because you didn't use the term bastard, but you might as well been adjacent to it, because she said, oh, out of wedlock, which is a formal way of saying, you had a child outside of a marriage. But those are also called bastards, but they can also be called love children, Is it a love child? But Andy is like, no, girls. We'll get into that later. So he put a kapush on that. I said kapush. And so we get back and focus on the moment with Nicole situation at an event that was for Lisa, okay? Where Lisa's supposed to get advice from the attorney about her situation. And what Andy asked Nicole, looking back, watching the episode, can you see how the girls can feel upset about the Amex situation? And she felt like actually she was surprised. She didn't feel it was that big of a moment that the girls want to make it. But Lisa, she's like, honestly, I did think it was for me and that everyone was embarrassing. And I agree. They were all embarrassing. But, since they don't like Nicole, of course, they're going to jump on let's hate Nicole bandwagon. So I like that Lisa, Lisa, she's fair. And I wish she was fair with herself because she has these fair moments with these girls. So I don't know why she doesn't do that for herself, So Nicole complains that Alexia makes the girls work for an apology, and she goes on and on and on. And Alexia's like, I just feel confident, and I want everyone to feel confident. I'm happy to be a star. But Lisa says to her, maybe you just got, aggravated, and that came out of a place of not jealousy, but you just calling yourself a star. And then Alexia checks Lisa, and she said, no, I still stand by me feeling like a star, because Lisa, you need self-confidence so that you wouldn't gone through what Lenny was putting you through, wouldn't have tolerated that. And the girls are like at a pause. I'm at a gag too, because I'm like, Alexia, what you calling Lisa? What you're saying about Lisa? Pretty much, Lisa, this is your fault. Like, Lisa, you're the reason why you're in this situation because you lack self-confidence. Like, is Lenny not the bad guy here? And we're like at a gag. And Alexia is looking at them like, what? And I'm like, oh my God. And we get a pause and we get a clip of part 2 of the reunion. And I'm like, no, this is way too much. But in part 2, we'll see Kiki actually get onto the stage, which is like, oh my God, I'm missing Kiki. But this season, this reunion is a 10. I give it a 10. If I want to be stingy, I give it a 9.9 because we didn't get more Kiki. But no, compared to every other reunion that we've ever seen, this is definitely a 10. I'm like, we started off super strong. Like, first we got into the Lisa situation. So damn, we coming this hard, like this strong. But of course, we're following the timeline of, the season. So I was like, we went strong with Lisa. I'm like, okay, Lisa's package was good. But then we get to Alexia. It's like, oh my God, that package is really good too. And then all the girls are participating, getting into it. Julia, she's, Julia, I want her to get in a little bit more. But, she did give us an update on Martina. She did address the situation with Alexia in her comments. And, what I am concerned is a little bit of Gertie, because I'm wondering, okay, what is Gertie's package going to look like? Like, are we going to get a package from Gertie? Because I know we're going to get a package with Larsa and Nicole. Marisol, she's not a housewife. She's like a friend of. And also Adriana, she might as well have been a housewife because, damn, she has a big situation to address with Frankie. And with Gertie, I'm like, what are we really going to talk about Gertie? Like, is Alexia really going to say why she's made the comment about Manu and her husband, Russell? We may just get into it. This may be the setup of a situation where Gertie has to address some things, but, like, what do you guys think? Well, anyways, this was such a great episode, and I'm so happy that, we have something to look forward to next week, because I was over Real Housewives of Potomac. So, you guys, if you like this recap, please like and share and subscribe. Join the family. I'm so appreciative of all my subscribers. I have 30 subscribers at the timing of this filming of this recap. And I'm so grateful for all of you who chose to support and subscribe to this channel. I am so grateful, and I wish I could hug you all. Thank you so much. And don't forget to share as much kindness as possible. Love you guys. Be safe and take care.